Joining me right now with all of that is Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for being here this weekend.
Good to see you.
First, on the spy balloon, this spy flight was able to travel the entire country. And we understand that the craft was able to snap images of our nuclear installations. What was sent back to Beijing, and what can you tell us about this based on your briefings?
The briefings that we have had have been unsatisfactory, and Maria, the president, should have done an Oval Office address on this with specifics for the American people. When you let this balloon come into U.S. airspace, you do not take it down. You say you followed it all the way from when it was launched, and you allow it to bring this information out of the country. They have invaded our airspace, and to take the images, to get the signals that they took, and then you don't know what other type of information on U.S. citizens that they transmitted before they shot it down. He should explain this to the American people. But I think more importantly, they've been making this story up as they've gone along, because we would not have known of this except for a local journalist in Montana with a good camera, takes a picture, puts it on the paper website, and asks the question, what does somebody know about this? Then the White House had to begin to make a statement.
Well, it's pretty extraordinary, the misinformation that comes out of this administration. This weekend, we've got the Munich Security Council, and it just feels like Biden is constantly on his heels, defending the U.S.'s relationship with China, despite the fact that the CCP continues its provocations. First, unleashing COVID-19, covering up COVID-19 from the Wuhan lab, not allowing an investigation. Now this surveillance flight into America. Your thoughts on the U.S.'s response?
The response is very weak coming from this White House, and this is a point where the House and the Senate are going to have to step up and take some measures to rein China in. The president is not speaking out against the Chinese Communist Party. Maria, you're talking about COVID. What about what is happening with fentanyl? Joe Biden should tell the Chinese Communist Party, stop manufacturing fentanyl today. They apprehended 14,000 pounds at the border last year. That's enough to kill 3.3 billion people. 70,000 Americans lost their lives to fentanyl last year. He should be adamant about this. There should be sanctions against the CCP. Look at what they're doing, bullying Taiwan and the Philippines and the South Pacific Islands. Look at what they're doing, continuing to steal our intellectual property. Look at what they're doing with great power competition. Look at what they're doing in the economic sector. Look at what TikTok is doing, surveilling our children. The Munich conference, he should be having the U.S. delegation say the Chinese Communist Party is our adversary. They are not a competitor. They are a part of the axis of evil with Russia, Iran, and North Korea. And we should let it be known we are not going to stand for this. But this president will not hold them to account.
When you look at the elephant in the room, this CBO warning this week that our national debt is on track to double, $19 trillion additional debt expected in the next decade. It's unsustainable if something is not done about it. And yet Joe Biden refuses to have a conversation about cutting spending.
Well, you're right about that, and that is why I've offered my bills that I do every year. Let's begin the process of cutting into the baseline. If you're the weak of heart, save a penny out of a dollar, a 1% across the board cut. A little bit braver, let's take 2 pennies. If you really want to get going on this, let's require every federal agency to save a nickel out of a dollar. Now, you don't make any rescissions into Medicare or Social Security. That is held harmless. And you have to look at this all together. Our debt, That is a threat to our nation's sovereignty. We have to look at who holds that debt. We have to look at beginning to get our federal spending under control, because every penny of this is taxpayer money.
Yeah, real quick before you go, Senator, your thoughts on what has taken place in Ohio. Pete Buttigieg once again missing in action, and families are very scared of the toxicity that they are being exposed to. They've left the area because they're afraid of sickness for their families, and yet FEMA apparently is not giving any aid to Ohio after this derailment and toxic chemicals bleeding off of it.
Yes, I think this is the third or fourth time in the past couple of weeks we have had a train derailment. If I were these rail companies, if I were the Department of Transportation, if I were this president, I would have an all hands on deck trying to figure this out. And the people that are there in East Palestine, Ohio, God bless them. And the EPA should be right there with them, along with the governor's office and the Ohio officials, to really try to figure out what is going on.
Senator, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for all of that.
You got it.